Hey guys, this is Chris Kermis, and today I'm starting the long journey north to the city of Isfahan, a 480-kilometer journey. But this video is not about Isfahan. This video is all about the journey. We're going to see some incredible sights along the way. We'll see the ancient city of Persepolis. We'll have some delicious local food and so much more. So come with me as we start this journey further north on this epic road trip.
And here we go, another highlight in a trip that's just full of highlights. On the long road between the great cities of Shiraz and Isfahan, we'll explore Persepolis, the ceremonial capital of the Achaemenid Empire and an essential stop on any travels across Iran.
Just 60 kilometers from Shiraz we have the ancient site of Persepolis, capital of the Persian Empire when it spanned from Greece to India. Persepolis was the capital of the Achaemenid dynasty. It was built by Darius the Great in around 500 BC. So these creatures on the inside part of the gate here, known as the Sphinx locally, they're the body of the bull, the wings of the eagle and the head of the human. And this symbolizes power from the bull, sharpness from the eagle and thoughtfulness from the human. Persepolis is somewhere I've always wanted to visit, bringing to mind provocative images of a distant and exotic past. And this is one of the top parts of the columns that you see behind, weighing about 8 tons. This beautiful relief that you see behind me is actually repeated about 24 times in Persepolis. This is the lion attacking the bull, but it's not based on hunting. This is actually based on the idea of the Iranian New Year, Nowruz. And the lion represents spring, the bull represents winter. The reliefs on the east wall of the palace here really put into perspective the extent of the Persian Empire, with representations of delegations from 23 of the 28 countries ruled by Persia coming to deliver gifts for the king. As I walk around here, I imagine it back in the days of its full glory, the ceremonial capital of the Persian Empire, and the grandeur intended to dwarf mere mortals by the power of the King of Kings. I'm walking through now what would have been the Apadana Palace. This was started by Darius the Great and finished by his son Xerxes. And this was the center point of Persepolis. This was the audience hall of the king. Originally it had 72 columns, now there's only about 14 left. And a huge wooden roof as well, but that would have been ruined during the sacking by Alexander the Great. The size of this is huge. Just this great expanse of the palace, again designed to make people look small who are coming to visit. And just next door to the huge ceremonial palace, we have this palace behind, which was Darius's private residence. It was known as the Mirror Hall because the stone inside was polished to such an extent that it literally worked like a mirror. And just to the side of me here, you see the temple of Xerxes, the son of Darius the Great. This temple is less well preserved because this was actually the first to be attacked during the sacking from Alexander the Great. But why did Alexander the Great attack and destroy Persepolis? Well, there's a couple of lines of thought on this. The first is that it was an act of revenge for the sacking of the Acropolis by the Persians about 100 years before. But the second, more likely story is it was just expansionism and creation of a new empire. Alexander the Great, by destroying Persepolis, was destroying the symbol of Persian power, while at the same time invading a lot of the countries that were controlled by the Persian Empire. And on the entrance to this palace, we have a relief of the king attacking a monster and stabbing it with a knife here. This you may remember back to the Qajar palaces and pavilions, this same imagery being used so they could link their dynasty back to the Achaemenids. And this, the last of the palaces here, is the 100-column palace. This was predominantly a military palace for military celebrations, military consultations. So what you see behind me is a former treasury. You only see the base of the columns here now because this building was made almost entirely of wood, so it was burnt during the sacking of Alexander the Great. Now Alexander the Great used around 3,000 horses and camels to take away the riches from here, the gold and the jewellery. Up on the hill with a commanding view over Persepolis, we reach one of the tombs of one of the last kings of the Achaemenid dynasty. Now the tombs of Darius the Great and his son Xerxes are actually elsewhere at the necropolis. We're going to go there next. But this is incredible up here. Beautiful view, you can see out for miles over Persepolis and beyond to the flat plains. Just incredible sight and incredible history. And here we see the tomb itself. The king portrayed there by the kingdom glory symbol. A fire in front and the moon on the right-hand side signifying the end of his life. 28 servants below there to hold the coffin. But history endlessly repeats and no empire lasts forever. In around 330 BC, Alexander the Great, the Macedonian Greek king who overthrew the Persian Empire, came and destroyed Persepolis. Having been to Persepolis, we're heading off now to the necropolis. This actually holds the tombs of 4 former kings, including Darius I and his son Xerxes. And here we have the tombs of the Achaemenid Kings in the necropolis. So the first is the tomb of Darius II, the second Artaxerxes I. Then we have the tomb of the King of Kings, Darius the Great. And finally, under renovation at the moment, the tomb of Xerxes. And the tombs are basically the same sort of style as we saw in Persepolis, but so grand the way they're carved into the cliff face here. But we also see a really interesting feature here. Below the tombs, you see these bas-reliefs, very, very much like we saw in the gorge the other day. And the story behind these, they came from the Sassanid dynasty, not the Achaemenid period when the tombs are from. But the Sassanid leaders, they wanted to make out that they were descendants of the Achaemenid dynasty, so they put their bas-reliefs here. It was also a kind of advert, putting their own bas-reliefs underneath these famous tombs of these great powers. And here at the end of the necropolis, we see a couple more bas-reliefs from the Sassanid period. Very, very similar to what we saw in the gorge the other day. The one directly behind me here is almost identical. It's the coronation of the first Sassanid king, being given the ring of power from the Zoroastrian god Ahura Mazda. Wow. It's so huge when you see it from down below. It's just incredible, the way these are just carved into the cliff face like this. So this is a moment I've really been looking forward to. We're now heading off to a traditional house changed into a restaurant with one of the best chefs supposedly in this area. So we're going to have some delicious local food for lunch and have a nice break from this relentless sun and sightseeing. Oh. Hello, hello. Very good, thank you. So this is where the magic happens, with this amazing food. I barely know where to start with this. Such an incredible feast has come out, but I'm going to start here with the soup, the Alook soup. So this is made from the white almonds. Lovely, lovely, really, really soft. Like, I don't know, almost like a rice pudding, but a flavorful, nutty, vegetable rice pudding. Now we'll try this potato and turmeric dish. I'm just going to put some on the plate here. This seems to be the done thing. Oh yeah, that is bringing the potato to another level. It reminds me closest of an Indian sort of curry. There's some real sort of curry there, and there's this nice little spicy hit. You just get the potato, you get the kind of turmeric, and then just like building, 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 nice hot spice. Lovely, lovely. I already feel that in the back of my throat there in a good way. So we've got this selection of pickled vegetables as well. Let's get some of these on the plate, give this a try. Oh, whoa. Oh, that's got a tang to it. Wow. Took a big bite on that, and that's just, ooh, sour, sour tang. Wow, intense. And then we got this insanely big dish as well, which has come out. This is Dampokht. It's a local rice with vegetables and meat. Well, it's got quite some flavour. Definitely the dill again. This green rice, always with the dill here, really has quite some flavour to it. And the rice is just cooked perfectly. Just really the right kind of texture. Oh, lovely. We've got to try the main event here. What we came for, the stuffed chicken. Looks just incredible. Oh, wow, okay. Oh, and there we see the stuffing. Yeah, that's delicious with the sauce, absolutely delicious. The succulent chicken, this lovely kind of tomatoiness to it, the vegetables in there, got a nice bit of carrot in there. Chicken done just right, that's beautiful, absolutely lovely. And this is something new I've not tried before, the Doogh. So this is a yogurt drink with mint. Wow, but it tastes like it's got a little bit of spice to it. It's got that real yogurt tang. You definitely get the mint in there. It's got this almost kind of slightly cheesiness to the smell of it. At the same time, not in a bad way. I quite like it. It's tasty. Really, really full of flavour and full of bang. Kind of like a mix between yogurt and cheese. Very, very strange. And this is the dessert, dates halva. Let's try this while I've still got some space left in my stomach. Thick, slightly chewy, strong date flavour, sesame seeds coming out. Definitely get the flour base, the oil, the thickness. But delicious, kind of calm, nice flavours after all this food. Wow. Phew, what a feast.
So I'm now at the tomb of Cyrus the Great, just a short walk around the corner from the restaurant where we just ate. But who was Cyrus the Great? Well, he was the first of the Achaemenid dynasty kings. He created the Achaemenid dynasty, probably the greatest dynasty of Iranian history when the Persian Empire was at its peak. But it wasn't until about 30 years after his death that Persepolis was started under Darius the Great. And the tomb of Cyrus the Great here is striking in its simplicity. For a man who started the most powerful dynasty in the line of Iranian kings. And this is all that's left. He had around 3 palaces in the area, but they've long since been destroyed for reasons that are too long for me to go through in this video. But this is all that's really left now. It's a rather small tomb. Now we're going to head on the long journey to Isfahan. We've still got quite some driving to do, about 350 kilometers. So let's hit the road.
And that's it, folks. After a long day of travel and sights, we finally made it to Isfahan, well after sundown. But that's going to be the next video. So I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, as usual, don't be shy with that thumbs up button. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. And please subscribe if you haven't already. There's plenty more content coming from Iran. Hope to see you next time, guys.